After my dad's funeral, while everyone was talking about who gets what from his money and stocks, my brother-in-law, who's married to my sister Kelly, suddenly said that all of it, including $5 million, should go to Kelly, the oldest sibling. My sister and her husband looked thrilled, but the lawyer told them they couldn't just decide that. My name is John Watson. I'm 42. I work in sales, and I have a wife and 2 kids. My dad owned a large share in a company. Even in his old age, he kept working. My sister Kelly, who's older than me, has always been a problem for our parents. Her bad behavior was constant. Even now, in her 50s, she doesn't have a steady job and just lives however she pleases. I've never liked her much, so I've always kept my distance. Then, out of the blue, Kelly came home one day and announced, "I'm getting married." The guy, Chris Adams, was younger and good-looking, but lazy and unpleasant. She started asking Dad for money for the wedding like it was nothing. She blew through it quickly, then had the nerve to ask for more. She figured she'd inherit everything eventually, so why not? I just watched her with a cold stare. Less than a year after their wedding, Dad had a heart attack while playing golf. He passed away a few days later. It hit me hard. I was truly devastated. Condolences poured in. My phone wouldn't stop ringing, but I couldn't just sit there crying. I had to step up and help my stunned mother arrange the funeral. As usual, my sister was nowhere to be found, off doing her own thing. After the funeral, Mom and I, exhausted, finally got a chance to rest. But the very next day, a lawyer came to the house to discuss Dad's will. Mom and I already knew what was in it. That's when Kelly and her husband barged in, completely unaware, and dropped a bombshell. All of Dad's stocks and the $5 million inheritance will go to my wife, the oldest daughter. So, hands off. Mom and I were speechless at their audacity. "We did it, Kelly! We're set for life!" My brother-in-law cheered, fist pumping. The lawyer, visibly surprised, calmly spoke up. "Hold on a moment." Kelly glared at him. The lawyer gave them a stern look. "Kelly, you are not entitled to any inheritance." Their jaws dropped. "That can't be right," Kelly protested. "She's the oldest daughter. She should get everything." It was clear her husband had been banking on that inheritance, assuming it would all be hers. The lawyer continued, his voice low. "Did you not know? Kelly is not Mr. Watson's biological child?" Kelly's face drained of color. Her eyes darted to our mother. "Mom?" she whispered. Our mother looked away, a complex expression on her face. "Kelly, you're from my previous marriage," she muttered. Kelly began shaking her, nearly frantic. "Mom, what does this mean?" My sister, who had always teased me about being the favorite child, now stood frozen. "But I was adopted, right?" Kelly asked. Her husband chimed in, trying to salvage the situation. "There must have been a legal adoption. Isn't that enough?" But our mother shook her head slowly. There was no legal adoption." They both stared in disbelief. "That can't be. I'm the oldest daughter. Even Dad said so." Now furious, my sister turned to me. "I'm not going to let you take everything," she snapped. I shot back, irritated by her entitlement. "After all the support Dad gave you, you still say that?" "Be quiet. I'm his rightful heir." They tried to argue. "What's wrong with a father supporting his daughter?" I sighed deeply. Nothing, unless she abuses that support. The lawyer stepped in. "Why don't we let Kelly see the will?" Kelly looked confused. I have no idea what's in the will." "Of course you don't," I said. "Dad asked us all to review it together, but you blew it off and went out to party." My brother-in-law glared at her. "What were you thinking? This was important." They finally agreed to hear the will. The lawyer opened it and read aloud. Dad had left everything to me and my mother. It also detailed why he never legally adopted Kelly. He intended to, but changed his mind due to her reckless behavior and the way she treated me, her half-brother. Kelly was stunned. I have no inheritance rights?" she stammered. Suddenly her husband snapped. "You lied to me. You said you had money." His tone grew aggressive, startling both Mom and Kelly. But me? I wasn't surprised at all. My brother-in-law had always shown signs of greed. To be honest, I suspected he married my sister for money. "Kelly, don't come back until you've got some money," he barked. "Wait. Chris, what do you mean?" Kelly asked, confused. "I thought I was going to be wealthy. What a letdown." Roughly pushing past my sister, he stormed out of the room. Left behind, Kelly glared at us, her face twisted with rage. She turned to our mother and shouted, "Mom, why didn't you have me adopted? It's not fair that only you and John get the inheritance. I should have gotten something too. You didn't handle this right. This is awful," she sobbed, making a dramatic scene. I was taken aback by her outburst, but the lawyer looked unfazed, probably used to this kind of drama. "Why does he get everything?" she snapped, pointing at me. "Because I'm Dad's son," I said plainly. Kelly's eyes burned with anger as she lunged at me, screaming, "You! It would have been better if you were never born." I didn't respond. I just thought to myself, even if I hadn't existed, Dad would have made the same decision, given your behavior. Before I could say anything more, the lawyer calmly stepped in. "Kelly, if you continue this way, we may need to involve the police." Kelly flinched, possibly recalling her past shoplifting incidents. "Kelly," Mom said softly, tears in her eyes. 6 months passed. The inheritance proceedings went smoothly with no hiccups. While my sister and her husband grumbled, the lawyer's efficient management left them with no room to meddle. My mother did give Kelly a small amount of money. I chose not to comment on it. But what really bothered me was their sudden disappearance with the funds. Their gold-digging behavior left a sour taste in the mouths of many relatives who knew the truth. One day, my wife suggested we take my mother out for a nice meal. We brought along our daughter, and my mother, who had been quiet since Dad's passing, lit up in the company of her sweet granddaughter. "Hey, Mom, why don't you come live with us?" I proposed. "But you know, Kelly might drop by sometimes," she said hesitantly. "She only shows up when she needs money. Don't be too accommodating with her." My mother was conflicted. I understood. Kelly was still her biological daughter. Plus, if we moved into the family home, there was a real chance that Kelly would show up again and stir up trouble. Respecting her feelings, I simply told her, "Think it over." As I drove her home, we noticed lights on in what was supposed to be an empty house. It wasn't the time for the helper to be there, so I figured maybe Kelly had returned. "I'll pull into the garage. Let's pop in for a quick coffee," I suggested. But as we stepped out of the car and headed toward the entrance, a car suddenly swerved toward us, narrowly missing us. Reacting to my daughter's scream, I instinctively shielded my wife. Ouch! The car grazed me, and I was thrown into a nearby flower bed, landing hard. The car came to a halt after crashing into the garage entrance. "Are you okay?" My wife and daughter rushed to my side, helping me up. My mother stood by the door, trembling in shock. Chaos followed. I was rushed to the hospital and kept overnight. Later, I learned that the driver was none other than Chris Adams, my brother-in-law. He told the police he mistook the accelerator for the brake. I didn't believe it for a second. My mother and sister came to visit me at the hospital. Kelly looked at me coldly. "You're surprisingly resilient, aren't you?" she said. I smirked. "Too bad for you. If I had died, Mom would have inherited everything." Kelly tensed. You were counting on it, weren't you? I added. She looked away, her discomfort obvious. Well, Mom told me she plans to waive her inheritance in my favor, so causing an accident was pointless. My sister looked shocked. The idea that someone would willingly give up money was incomprehensible to her. I have a wife and kids. Mom asked me to pass it down to them. That's what parents do. But, she stuttered. I even made a will early on, just like Dad, I said calmly. So, unfortunately, my share won't be going to Mom anymore. Kelly began trembling. Can't you at least give me something? There's $5 million, right? When I firmly refused, her face twisted with rage. She grabbed my collar. Give me half. I'm your sister. I stared at her with pity. As she screamed in an unsettling tone, I could only wonder if the inheritance had finally driven her mad. Don't you realize your greed would disappoint Dad? I said. That only infuriated her more. She reached for my throat. Kelly! What are you doing? My mother shouted, stepping in just as nurses arrived to pull Kelly away. Though my mother looked like she wanted to defend her, it was clear that Kelly had insulted even her. Where did I go wrong? In raising her, my mother whispered. It was heartbreaking to hear my mother say, Where did I go wrong in raising her? Her voice filled with sadness. Shortly after, my mother fell ill. As her condition worsened, my wife and I began helping with transportation and household chores at the family home. It wasn't much, but we wanted to be there for her. This seemed to upset my sister. Maybe it was because she had encountered my wife during her usual drop-ins to ask for money. Or perhaps she had heard from Mom that we were helping regularly. One day, she called me out of nowhere. From now on, we'll take care of Mom. You two don't need to come. What's this all about? I asked. But she didn't listen. She just hung up, insisting the decision had already been made. When I checked with my wife, she had received the same message. We were effectively dismissed. Concerned, especially knowing my sister had zero experience in caregiving, I contacted my mother directly. Surprisingly, my brother-in-law had some caregiving experience, and since my mom was still mostly independent at the time, I felt slightly reassured. But that relief didn't last long. Less than a month later, Mom was rushed to the hospital due to a medication dosage error. When we arrived, she looked frighteningly frail. The doctor was puzzled. Mom had never made a mistake like that before. While my wife stayed with her, I returned to the family home and was horrified. The place was a mess. The fridge was empty, even though Mom loved cooking. It seemed the hired help had been let go without notice. And worse, a large amount of money had been withdrawn from Mom's bank account, even though her bank card and PIN were secured in a safe. Thankfully, the inheritance account, kept in a separate deposit box, was untouched. But nearly all the funds allocated for living expenses were gone. I packed up the essentials for Mom's hospital stay, grabbed her bank card, and returned. Mom, did Kelly take the bank card? She seemed surprised. No, I don't know anything about that. When I asked about the medication error, she fell quiet, then confessed, Chris prepared it. Mom, maybe it's time to stop letting Kelly into the house. She looked down. John, I promised to take care of you, but the house is in such disarray. You've lost so much weight. Have you been eating properly? Her words hit me hard. Come live with us. I'll build a home where we can all be together, I said. She broke down in tears. Despite the doctor's best efforts, her condition declined. I believe the incident with my sister broke her spirit. She passed away peacefully, not long after my father. It was as if she had followed him. When I returned to the family home to handle funeral arrangements, I made another devastating discovery. All the valuables were gone. It was clear. My sister and brother-in-law had looted the house in their desperate pursuit of money. I was stunned, then consumed by rage. I vowed to hold them accountable. The day after the funeral, we met with the lawyer to settle the estate. "Too bad," Kelly said smugly. "Mom's inheritance rightfully belongs to me, her daughter." I chuckled. "Let's see what the will says." The lawyer opened the will. Kelly's face went pale. "Kelly is not entitled to inherit anything," the lawyer announced. "No, this can't be," she gasped. "That's your father's final wish," the lawyer said firmly. My brother-in-law exploded. "This is absurd. Kelly is her biological child." He swept everything off the table in anger. "You can't deceive us. Give us the inheritance." "Chris, did you try to harm my mother?" I asked. "What? No, I didn't do anything," he snapped. "Then why was there a medication error?" I pressed. He scowled. "Who cares about that? What matters is that we're not getting the money." Kelly broke in, losing her composure. "I'm getting nothing? Tell me this isn't true." The lawyer began calmly explaining the legal distribution. After deducting everything Kelly had already withdrawn, plus the stolen valuables, there was almost nothing left. She scratched her head, frustrated. "This can't be it. It can't be this little." I stepped in. "This was all discussed with the lawyer beforehand. You've relied on our parents your whole life without knowing the value of hard work. You didn't take care of Mom. You just took her money and left her." "You're ungrateful," I said. "Taking care of someone costs money," Kelly snapped. "Then show me the receipts, the breakdown. I'll cover the real expenses." I held out my hand. Kelly froze. Her lips trembled. I don't have that." "Then it won't be recognized," the lawyer added. Kelly fell silent. My brother-in-law, desperate now, pleaded. "John, your sister really needs help. Can't you just lend her a little? Please." I refused. That's when he cracked. "If everything had gone as planned, Kelly would have had the inheritance by now," he muttered. "What do you mean by as planned?" I asked. But before I could press further, he slipped. "Because of this guy, nothing ever goes smoothly. I was supposed to get a new car, and now all I got was enough to fix the old one." Kelly tried to stop him, but it was too late. "That's a serious accusation," the lawyer said, watching them closely. "Sounds like fraud." "What? That's illegal!" my sister screamed. "I informed you this meeting would be recorded. You both agreed." Chris paled as the realization sank in. "I'll be pressing charges for that accident," I declared. "You're joking, there's no proof." "You just gave us the proof." Kelly collapsed in tears. "You idiot!" she shouted, shaking Chris. "This is all your fault. What do we do now?" Eventually, Chris was arrested. His previous crimes came to light, and he was charged accordingly. Kelly, implicated as an accomplice, received a lesser sentence. Unable to afford rent, she sought help from relatives. Every one of them turned her away. As for me, I kept working hard. I never relied on the inheritance, but I did find peace in the dividends from Dad's stocks, which I treated not as fortune, but a reminder of the values he lived by.